Zombie Apocalypse.
How's it going, everybody? This is Tyler Drabo. Hope you're having another great day, and welcome back to another video. Alright, it's time for another edition of Haulin Games. In this series, I'll talk about all the games that I got throughout every month, and for this one, I'm going to be talking about all the games that I got for the month of November of 2021, and this one is my biggest one yet. Tons of PS1 games here, especially a couple of PS2 games as well, and for my birth month last month, it was definitely worth getting all of these games, but I got similar plans for how I'm going to be collecting all of my games for the month of December, so stay tuned at the end of the video for more info about that. But for right now, we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. And we're going to start with all of our sports games first, and we're going to start out with the games that forever revolutionized the racing genre on the PlayStation. It all starts with Gran Turismo, the first one being released in 1998. So excited that I get to have this game in my collection along with its sequel, Gran Turismo 2. These were the games that forever revolutionized the racing genre on the PlayStation, and these were two must-gets if you're a retro gaming fan, particularly in the racing genre. So I'm very excited that I have both of these Gran Turismo games, as well as all the games in Gran Turismo overall, with the exception of GT Sport and Gran Turismo Prologue as well, which I hope to get at some point. Next game I got here is called NASCAR Rumble. Now this is interesting because this is pretty much EA Sports and NASCAR's take on Mario Kart. So racing cars as usual, stock cars in NASCAR. However, this one has a lot more power-ups and weapons. And with this one, I believe I got all the games that were originally released on the PlayStation 1 for the NASCAR franchise. So I'm very excited about that, and I do enjoy this game a little bit, especially. So then I got F1 2000. This is based on the 2000 Formula 1 World Championship with Michael Schumacher, perhaps one of the greatest drivers in F1 history on the cover. I really like this one. I don't really have too many Formula 1 games, but when I do get them, they definitely play pretty well. So I already played this a little bit, and I do enjoy it. I'll definitely play a little bit more of this in the near future. Then we got a couple of sequels for a couple of racing franchises. The first one is All-Star Racing 2, which is the sequel to the original All-Star Racing. Same racing mechanics, so it's a little bit repetitive there, and it's pretty generic as well. But next one's also pretty interesting. Is Test Drive Off-Road 2. Definitely interesting compared to all the other Test Drive games there are, especially since you're racing off-road. But it's definitely an interesting one, and I do enjoy this one. I definitely will play a little bit more of this. Next one is a really interesting racing game. It's called Bravo Air Race. Unlike all the other racing games that I got, this one you race in the air with World War II or modern-day airplanes as well. It's very similar to all those plane racing games that there is, as well as some of those popular racing sports where you compete in airplanes like this one. Then I got a few games here that I've really wanted to get. The first one is called Looney Tunes Racing. This is based off the popular Looney Tunes franchise. However, this time is a racing game, so it's definitely an interesting and a good one, and I really enjoyed this one. Next one I really wanted to get for a long time is called Speed Punks. I used to have this game as a kid, and I really enjoyed playing the heck out of it, so I'm very happy that I have this game. Along with is the last one of the three, which is Lego Racers. Just like all the other racing games I got, this one also has a lot of power-ups. However, this is probably more based on those that are little, those that are younger, so obviously they would enjoy this a lot more. But for me, this one's a little bit frustrating, but still, it's pretty good gameplay. However, I will admit though that the graphics could be a little bit better on this one, but I do enjoy having this one in my collection. Finally, that skateboarding game that I've wanted to get for so long, well, I finally have it. It's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, released in 2000. This is the game that forever revolutionized action sports in the video gaming industry. And I know the snowboarding games like Cool Wars are definitely very popular, but this was the game right here that revolutionized it, especially when you have Tony Hawk of all people on the cover. If you're a huge fan of action sports games, this is a game that you have to have in your collection. So I'm very happy that I finally have this here. Time to get to all about action and war games now, and we're going to start out right now with Grudge Warriors. Now this one is more of a combat game in which you go up against teams of opponents and try to beat their opponents, and as well as gain some other things as well, like especially like weaponry and all of that stuff. I will say it's definitely not as good as a game I would have liked to have enjoyed, but however, it is a game that I'm happy to have in my collection, and I will try to master this more. I just wish it was a little bit better. Then we have a series of helicopter games that I have here. The first one is called Black Dawn, released in 1996. Definitely a very interesting one, especially one of the early hits for the PS1 when it comes to helicopter militaristic games. Next one that goes along with that is called Nuclear Strike. Definitely a helicopter game that I enjoy playing, and you get to fly all these cool planes as well, especially with the final one of these three. It's called Thunderstrike 2. As somebody that has played World War II plane games like Heroes of the Pacific, Heroes over Europe, and all of that, this is definitely a little bit out of the norm, especially since you're flying helicopters instead of, you know, airplanes and World War II military craft and all of that. So it's definitely good to get some games that are definitely out of the norm when it comes to that. And so I'm definitely happy to have these three, and I will look forward to playing more of these in the future. This next one here is also interesting. It's called Tiger Shark. Now, unlike what I just explained here, this one you actually fight in both the sea and land as well, especially since you're flying a plane that can go through both of them as well. So definitely one of those very interesting militaristic games as well, and it's definitely a very interesting war game overall. So I'm happy to have this one. Then I have a couple of games in the Army Men franchise. The first one is the sequel to Army Men Air Attack, Army Men Air Attack 2. Obviously, it's the same controls like the original Army Men Air Attack, so there's nothing really special about this one, but still definitely a good game that you can get if you're a fan of playing plastic toy soldiers, as well as the next one, Army Men World War Team Assault. Here you get to play alongside other plastic toy soldiers and try to team up with those to try to defeat your opponents and save your world as well from a bad war or something like that. So I don't really know too much about the concept of this one, but however, this is a game that is definitely very interesting. And you know, Army Men is definitely a very weird one because you're playing plastic toys. So it's very similar though to those other militaristic games. So next two games I'm really excited to have. The first one is the original Grand Theft Auto, which was released back in 1997. So excited about this one. This is what set off the popular Grand Theft Auto franchise, and especially the sequel, Grand Theft Auto 2. Top-down games are usually very hard, and that's especially what these two games were all about, but obviously starting with GTA 3 on out, it started with the regular camera systems that you would see with all the other Grand Theft Auto games, which makes it a lot better, but this is what really started the GTA franchise out. And if I'm right in saying this, I think I have all the Grand Theft Auto games now there is, so it's really one of the things that I want to accomplish this year when I started video game collecting is get all the Grand Theft Auto games for the end of the year, and well, I think I pretty much accomplished it, so good for me on that part. I'm also very excited to get this one. This is Twisted Metal, and this one is almost very similar to Destruction Derby. This one's very interesting because you play with these goons and you're trying to defeat them to become the real king of your particular event, and so obviously this is definitely a very interesting game here and probably one of the original hits when it comes to vehicle or combat games on the PlayStation. So a couple more games that are interesting. The first one is the Die Hard trilogy video game. Now, I've never seen any of the Die Hard movies, however, this has all three movies combined in one video game, so this is what makes this game very spectacular, especially with the other one that I got, Apocalypse. This one having Bruce Willis in the game, and really quick for an action game, obviously. I would have loved for there to be more missions, however, it's definitely a game that I do enjoy playing, you know. You get to defeat bad guys and try to save the world. Obviously, it's very, very good game as well, so I really enjoy Apocalypse, and I hope to play this again in the near future. Next up, we got a couple of sequels for two popular video game franchises for the PlayStation 1. The first one is Siphon Filter 2. This is the sequel to the original Siphon Filter, which was released the year before in 1999. And the other one that I got is called Tomb Raider 2, which was the sequel to Tomb Raider, which was released the year before. Funny that I got these two games, especially since I got the original games for Siphon Filter and Tomb Raider the month before. So, you know, if there are any more Siphon Filter and Tomb Raider games, I definitely will be on the lookout for those. So, very happy to have their sequels here. Going a little further with all of our games that are in the Massilianis franchise, and we're going to start out with a game that I've also wanted to get. This is called the original Crash Bandicoot, released in 1996. Oh, of course, this was really the mascot of the original PlayStation 1, so I'm happy that I got to play this game along with its sequel, Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back. If you played the original PlayStation 1, you have to know Crash Bandicoot. It's one of the most popular video game mascots there is in the world, and so, like I said, I really love the original Crash Bandicoot. I really played the heck out of it, and you know, it's definitely a little bit hard at times, but once you complete it, it's very satisfying. Another video game franchise that is popular is called Spyro the Dragon, and I got both of the first two games here. This is the original Spyro the Dragon that was released in 1998, and I also have its sequel, Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage. Spyro the Dragon is definitely another must-know mascot if you have played the PlayStation 1 or are planning to get the PlayStation 1 console, and so another very cool franchise here, and I'm happy to have both these games. Haven't really gotten much into the Spyro the Dragon original, so I'm hoping to get into that very soon. Then we have the sequel to Croc Legend of the Gobbos. This is Croc 2. Now, obviously, this game console looks a little bit banged up, obviously, and the disc itself is probably a little more messed up than it should be, but however, it does play fine. It pretty much picks up right where you left off. You try to find your parents and save them while you're also going up against Baron Dante, and now I'm going to be honest with you, there aren't too many games that I do regret getting playing. However, this one is definitely I wish I would take back. This is Rascal that was released in 1996, and this probably could be by far one of the worst games that I've ever gotten. I mean, it's really that bad. The cameras were really mostly bad, and the graphics, I mean, they're okay, but the controls and everything that you go through, I couldn't even make it past the first level of this one, and the game is almost virtually unplayable. I've heard a lot of stories about how bad this game is, and I think I can understand why. I mean, I'm keeping this collection just for the sake of it, but hey, you know, this is one of those games where I wish that I probably didn't get, but what the heck, I have it, so it really doesn't matter anymore. Then we go to our cartoon-based games, the first one of which is Rugrats Search for Reptar. Obviously, this is part of the Rugrats franchise, and so next game I have to go along with it is called Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. Part of the popular Scooby-Doo franchise, a character from Cartoon Network that we all know and love, and so this is definitely a game that I'm very happy to have, and you know, this is the first Scooby-Doo game that I think I've ever gotten, and probably the only one that I know of as of right now for the PlayStation Fanwave Network, so I'm hoping to get more of them. Next one we have is called Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. This is not related to the movie, this is related to the TV series that was there as a spin-off to the Toy Story movie franchise. And to go along with that, we have The Cat in the Hat. Now this is, like I said, is also not related to the movie. This is part of the popular book franchise, and obviously I do wish it was a little bit better, but hey, I really enjoyed The Cat in the Hat movie from 2003 despite how comically bad it was. Next up, we're going right into our movie games. The first one is Toy Story 2. This is one I really wanted to get. This was based off of the film Toy Story 2, and so I'm very happy to have this one. The next one that I have is Dinosaur, which was based off the movie that was released in 2000. Also a top-down game, however, it will take some time to get used to it, but I do enjoy having this one. And also based off a movie from 2000, I have Chicken Run. Basically the same concept for this game. You're trying to escape these two people that are trying to turn you into chicken pot pies and all of that, and you know, really it's pretty much the same concept for all three of the story movie games that I have here. So like I said before, you know, whenever there was a movie that was out at the time, you can bet your butt that there's going to be a game that's going to be made for it as well. So happy to have those three. I actually forgot about one more movie game that I got, and it's called Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, based off the very first Harry Potter film back in 2001. And they're a good one, and I definitely will play more of it in the near future. Then we'll go ahead into the space world, and we're going to start this one with Space Invaders. This is almost pretty similar to the game Asteroids. Obviously, you're fighting against alien creatures as well, trying to save your world, so definitely a very fun game that I have here, along with Missile Command. Almost similar to Space Invaders as well, and definitely a very good one where you get to play in space as well, and I really enjoy having space games like this one, especially the next one, Galaga Destination Earth. This one is similar in the fact that it's also futuristic warfare, however, you're protecting Mother Earth obviously by going off against these alien-like creatures, so yeah, space games are definitely a little bit out of the norm as well, but I'm happy to have these ones, and I'm looking forward to playing more of them in the near future. Then we have a couple of puzzle-based games. The first of them is Cubert, which was released sometime around, I think, 1997 or 1998, I don't know, but you're trying to solve these puzzles while also trying to save as many of your friends as you can, so definitely an interesting game that was probably one of those early hits for the PlayStation 1. And then we have Tetris Plus. Now, obviously, Tetris, we all know, is one of the most popular games there are, and this was, I think, the first PS1 game that was released afterwards, and then the next one, obviously, would be the next Tetris, but Tetris Plus is also another pretty good puzzle game, and so I'm very happy that I have this one. And finally, it is Pro Pinball Big Race USA. This is the prequel to Pro Pinball Fantastic Journey. Like I said before, when I was a kid, I played a lot of pinball, so the fact that I now have two of these is pretty much bringing back some of my childhood memories of when I was playing pinball on the computer, so if there are more pinball games, I'll definitely be on the lookout for those in the future. That's all for the PlayStation 1 games that I got, but I do have a couple of PlayStation 2 games that I got to go along with them. The first one I really wanted to get for quite some time is NASCAR Dirt to Daytona. This one is cool for the fact that for the first time, it's not just the NASCAR Cup Series that's in this. There's also features other NASCAR sanctioned series as well, so the first of its kind before NASCAR 2005 Chase for the Cup. Wanted to get this one for a long time, and I'm happy to have this one. Last one though, however, is not so spectacular. However, for the sake of it, I got it. It's Madden NFL 2004. Like I said, I'm not much of a fan of Madden games anymore, especially since it's pretty repetitive, but you know, obviously it was now one of my thrift store finds, so you know, obviously I'm just gonna find what I get at this point, so another Madden game, yeah, what the heck. project, but however, I am happy that I have this one. And also, as I mentioned on my social media earlier, for the first time I got to play online multiplayer. I did test out Call of Duty Warzone when I was downloading Call of Duty Modern Warfare's campaign mode, and I'll admit, it is alright. I definitely will try it out a little bit more on the PlayStation 4, but you know, for my first online multiplayer experience, I'm definitely going to have to get used to it a little bit. And finally, I almost added a new gaming console into this question. At Digital Press in Springfield, they were selling the Xbox 360 along with 2 games for $39.99, and it was something that I literally wanted to get. However, unfortunately, when I got there, the big old box of games that they had, they were pretty much only sports games, unfortunately. And so when I asked them if I could get a couple of Xbox 360 games from their rack of games that they have, they told me no, I had to get them from the box of games. And so unfortunately, that was pretty much turned me off from getting the Xbox 360 deal. Be honest with you, I really don't know if I would have gotten it anyways, especially since I was running out of space on my table along with other places where I can store all my games. But I definitely will try to get an Xbox 360 and, like I said, all those other video game consoles outside the PlayStation in the near future. I'm going to have to think about trying to reach out to my friends like Furman and some other people a little more about other games and consoles that they have that they don't want anymore. I mean, I really like getting these games, however, there are times where I really want to save some money, so maybe in the near future I gotta learn how to reach out to friends and see if they have games or consoles that they don't want anymore, and so I can probably get them for free, which will definitely really help me save a little bit of my buck. But yeah, for my birth month of November, this is definitely worth all of it here. I'm happy to have all these games. Some of them, obviously, I wish I didn't get, but obviously, like I said, this is my biggest haul yet, and I'm very excited to have that. But next month's gonna be very fun because this will be the last month of the year, and there are a lot of days off that I got for the month of December. So really, because of how hectic the holiday season is going to get, especially the second half of the month, I'm thinking about getting all my eBay games pretty much right away, right at the very first Monday, and then just not having it for the second of the 3 Mondays that there are. So obviously, the first Monday is just going to be all my eBay games, and so once I get that, I got a whole week off for the final week of the year. So I'm thinking about going to 5 different game stores in 5 days, which will be very interesting. So I'm trying to think about probably saving for around like $300, $400, or $500 for this month, obviously, but it's going to be a very fun end to what has been a very successful first year of collecting. And like I said, hopefully I get more consoles and games like this in the near future. But as I mentioned before, I'm really enjoying video game collecting, and you know, there's only very more that I can definitely get. But that is going to do it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you'd like to see more of my content, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when my latest video is released. As always, be sure to comment below for future suggestions for all my videos, whether it's vlogs, projects, or challenges, or video game content, you name it. Leave it in the comments below and I'll do my best to make them. As always, follow me on my social media. All the links are in the description below. That's going to do it for this video. Hope you're having another great day. And as always, I hope to see all of you again in another video very soon. So long, everybody.